Hey everybody, how are you guys doing? It is good to see you guys here. Let me move my screen. Glad to see everybody popping on here. A lot of familiar faces. I like it. I like it. You guys who are showing your screen, thank you. It's always good to see real people out there. So it's awesome to see all you happy faces out there. Thank you. Thank you. Um, awesome. Very good. Just would let a couple people get on there. Just do me a favor and mute yourself if you are not already muted. Um, just because, when background noise, it happens. Right. Good to see all you guys. Awesome. So thanks guys for taking the time out of your day to hang with me here. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Fern, and I am I guess, the founder and CEO of Overdog Digital. And we are a kind of like a digital marketing coaching program just for dog daycare and boarding facilities. So, I'm a dog guy. I've been in this industry for a while on a lot of different areas. And we just are trying to help, all you guys realize your entrepreneurial dreams of helping people and dogs. What better than that? At the end of the webinar, I will tell you guys a little bit more about some of the ways that if you're looking for help, that we might be able to help you out. But today we're talking Disney. All right, this is a subject matter. I'm just a little kid at heart, so I've always loved Disney. But this particular presentation is probably my most requested one that I get requested to do. I've done a bunch of, I've done probably anywhere from like 20 to 30, maybe even more different presentations live and on webinars. And this definitely is a popular one that people ask me for. And it's one of the ones that I like to do the most. So I'm glad you guys are pumped up for it. So everybody can see and hear me, no problems, right, with that? Awesome. All right. Well, then what we're gonna do is let me break the chat out here so I can see you guys, or at least keep an eye on the chat as we go in here. And then let me share my screen, make sure you guys can see that. Once again, I ask you guys just to mute yourself if you can.
What's the meeting number?
So as you guys come on, just please mute yourself so there's no background noise here. And I will try to keep an eye on the chat as we go. So if something comes up, feel free to drop it in the chat. But I will try to save some time at the end so that if you have questions, we can go over it, or you want to chat about anything that we have here. Still getting a lot of background noise from people. I'm trying to mute people as they come in. I thought I set it to mute on entry, but maybe not. So just do me a favor, guys. Just keep an eye on your mics and make sure they are muted. I think it's as people are coming in. It's not let's see here. All right. So cool. Let's get going here. All right. This is a jam-packed presentation. Probably be about probably like, I guess, maybe like 70, 80 minutes. And then, again, I'll get into all of your questions and stuff. All right. So definitely nobody on the planet does it like Disney. I think we can all agree to that, right? They're a company that is so unique that many people and businesses follow. They have programs where businesses can go there and actually learn the Disney way. Here's a picture of me and one of my daughters. I have twins, and they are 16 now, but this is the first time we went to Disney. I think they're about 7 here to enjoy all the fun at Disney. So what qualifies me to talk about Disney? Well, I've been there 4 times to Walt Disney World. I've been to Disneyland in California once. I'm a big reader, and Disney is probably the one topic I've done the most research on just because I'm a fan and I'm just so like enamored by everything they do. So my bookshelf, which is behind me here, is just jam-packed full of Disney books. Um, I share the same birthday with the man himself, Walt Disney. When I found that out, I was like, ah, this is why I'm so connected to this company. I have the same birthday as Walt himself, and I'm also really immature. So all the Disney stuff touches all my buttons, but I also do everything with a business mindset. So as I was going, as I'd been to Disney a number of times and I was, enjoying myself with my family, in the back of my mind, I'm always watching, taking notes from the business side of things. I can't turn that off. So all those reasons I think are why that maybe it's why I'm somewhat qualified to talk on Disney and business specifically as it relates to the pet industry and how we can do things to capture some of that magic that Disney has created and some of the things that they do, and we're going to bring them into your pet care business. So, real simple, what we're going to talk about today is we're going to learn lessons from Walt himself, because I think he's a really unbelievable entrepreneur. Like there's nobody better. I highly recommend a book called How to Be Like Walt. Was the first kind of book I really read on him, and it talks about like his whole journey through his life as well as the lessons you can pull from him. Really good book. So we're gonna hear from Walt today throughout this presentation, as well as the key takeaways from the global brand, which extends beyond Walt and everything they've accomplished, since his death. All right, so let's dive right in. The first thing that Disney does amazingly is to really know their specific target audience, okay? And the key thing is I always say your audience can't be everybody with a dog, all right? That's a poor avatar to have, all right? You need to dial in a little bit. And Disney knows their target market well and caters to them perfectly. So that's the good thing. Once you know what your target market is, who the people you're trying to reach, then it's really easy to tailor your services and your messaging that speaks to them. Okay, so who do you want to serve? All right, I want you to think about who is your target audience. And remember, it can't be everyone with a dog. All right, who do your services like best serve? Like, who do you want to serve? What are your best clients? So you choose your avatar. You get to decide what your audience is. So I want you to kind of think about it and narrow it down a little bit. I think a lot of people don't put as much thought around it. And then once you've kind of narrowed down to what that target market is, so let me give you an example. So I was a dog trainer for 15 years in New Jersey. And in the beginning, I just decided, yeah, I'll do everybody. I'll do everything and do everything. So I was doing group classes, I was doing behavior consults, I was doing in-homes. I was all over the place. I helped all kinds of different dogs. We did obedience, everything. And as I started, my career progressed, I kind of decided to zero in on a very particular segment. So I decided my focus was going to be families. So I wanted the family dog. That's what I wanted to focus on. So I gave up obedience classes. I gave up really severe aggression cases, and I just focused on someone, people with a family, they've got a job, they've got kids, and they don't need their dog to do a 5-minute downstay. They need their dog not to eat their couch and have, be okay when their kids' friends come over. So once I narrowed it down to this is my focus, these are the people I want to serve and the customers I want, I started to create content around that. I crafted my messaging on my website, on my social posts, all designed for them. And when you do that, it speaks to them and you start to attract more of them. So you will get more of the people that you want. All right. And you got to not go outside that. It doesn't mean, that you're not going to take clients, that are outside of that. So I did work with dogs that were, single young professionals and stuff like that. So it doesn't mean you don't work it, but you just want to make sure you kind of stay in your lane and realize that, as you're creating your services, you don't want to say, well, I could do this service that, if daycare is your main focus and you're going to really zero in on that, you might be like, well, maybe I should, like I said, there's always like a new thing, something new on the outside. Oh, maybe this is cool. This is new. And it doesn't mean you don't try new stuff. It means just understand the very specific kinds of clients that you want. All right. And it may be human or dog, that you are well suited for. Once you niche down a little bit, I think magical things can happen to you. So let's hear from Walt himself. Walt says, you just can't please everybody. All right. Guys, do me a favor and mute yourself if you're just coming on here because I hear some feedback coming in. So Walt says, you just can't please everyone. I don't want to please everyone. I'd get a little worried if I did something and everyone was pleased. And what I think is if you're not pissing some people off, you're not taking a stand. All right. You're not, putting yourself out there to a specific thing that you want. All right. So just keep that in mind. Also, we want to get them while they're young. So Disney does this great. Obviously, everything they have done is designed to appeal to kids, right? It's what better? It's Mickey Mouse, it's cartoons, it's fun, it's rides. Everything is designed with kids. All right, which is true. However, you'll notice a lot of Disney stuff is also geared, towards adults. So what Disney does is knows we're going to focus on the kids and we're going to wow them and give them such a good experience so that they will continue to come even after they grow up. All right. And if you look at the crowd in Disney, you will see there are tons of people without kids there. I'm going to bet that they went when they were kids and they remember that experience. And even though they don't have kids now, they still want to go and they're still fun for them. So if you get them in and lock them in as customers when they're young, you have them for the life of you increase the lifetime value. The sooner you get a customer, the longer you can take care of them and the more value you can provide to them. And in turn, the more value you'll get from them. So always you're thinking about what the lifetime value of a customer is, all right? They take really good care of kids because they know those kids are going to grow up to be adults and that we're going to be able to have a customer probably, for the next like 60 years maybe, all right? So always understand that at Overdog, that's one of our obsessions is lifetime value. How do we continue to extend the lifetime value of each customer? And that's what we're always thinking about. You should have programs for puppies. All right. Now, this is getting better. Back when I first became a dog trainer, everyone was afraid to take puppies because of vaccines and everything. Now, puppy programs, a lot of our clients have it. We've helped a bunch of our clients enable and begin puppy programs. The reason puppy programs are so awesome is number one, as a trainer, the socialization is so important early on. It is so time critical that if we wait till the dog is fully vaccinated, we've missed our biggest window for socialization. So I think it's got to happen quicker. Now, we have to do it safely. So there's obviously protocols. I'm not going to get into that now, but we have to do it safely, but you can do that. And if you cater to puppies, what we're doing is we're getting clients in. So if you don't take puppies, you're going to say, oh, well, you got a new puppy. Great. Come back when you're fully vaccinated in 5 months or whatever. If the place next door takes puppies and they go there, are they going to come back to you when they're vaccinated? No, you've just missed those clients forever. So you get them in when they're young and they get acclimated to your business, both the humans and the dogs, and you train them to come from an early age and you get a customer for life. So I would say you definitely should have programs for puppies and you should have puppies. There's ways to do it safely, all right? And we have tons of clients that have done it. The other thing you want to do is, so Disney knows, even though we're targeting kids as our demographic, they don't forget about the adults, okay? There are still if you watch a Disney movie, there are so many things that go right over the kids' heads that is designed for the adults who are taking the kids to these movies. All right, pretty impressive. Even at the theme parks, you'll see that. There's tons of stuff for adults. Daycare, the big problem I see is no one is focusing on the humans, paying the bills. Everyone focuses on the dogs. The dogs can't tell their humans how great you are or what they did. So I think you need to really focus your time on how can we engage the people, okay? The people who are fronting the bills for these dogs, how can we engage them and include them in the services that normally don't include them? If you can do that, you will have loyal customers just like Disney. As much as you can personalize the experience, you should. Okay, nothing, and this is hard to do at scale, but there's nothing more scalable than Disney. So one of the things when we went on that first vacation, I'm not sure if they do it anymore, but when we signed up for our Disney vacation and we got in the mail, we got this kind of little booklet that said, this is not mine, but I couldn't find mine. But so like the Foster's Family Incredible Vacation. So I got one that said the Camacho's Family. It was personalized to us. What was inside was all the same, but any level of personalization you can do makes people feel warm and fuzzy. Okay. It gives them a big connection. So how can you personalize things? Definitely when they first, in any welcome materials you have, if you're doing things digitally, a lot of the software can automate this by popping in their names, their dogs' names and stuff. We can do all that automated. But we want to make sure we're kind of letting them know how important they are as individuals. They're not just a number or another dog there. Make their dog the star, okay? They're proud parents. How can we do things in your business that showcase their dog in different ways? If you're able to do that, again, the people there are just gonna love you. And if we listen to Walt, he says people spend money when and where they feel good. So by personalizing the experience, you're making them feel all warm and fuzzy. Again, nothing, a pet parent, that proud parent. So if we can capitalize on that feeling that they have and show them that your business also feels that, I think you're going to have customers for a long time. First and last impressions are the most important, the beginning and the end of things, because those are the first impression is the first thing that you see, and the last thing is what you're going to be thinking about after you leave a business or an experience. Here we are on Main Street. There's my other daughter, Jada, and my wife here on the right side. Walt, and reading about Walt, he put so much effort, thought, and intention into this view, which is the first thing you see when you walk into the park, called Main Street. He was so meticulous about every detail because he wanted to create impression when somebody walks in for the first time. That's why the castle is set up in a direct line of view, that unobstructed, so you can see it as soon as you walk in, and everything on this. And one thing like I noticed when I walk in is it is set up so you're assaulted by not only the sights, but of scent. You'll smell like popcorn, then you walk a little bit and you'll smell like baked goods. Like it's just amazing how they thought of the whole sensory experience about when you come in. So you need to make a good impression. All right. There's different ways you can do that. How do people feel when they walk into your building? Okay. What do you think that impression is for someone? Are they having an amazing experience? And your lobby is probably the only place that the humans are going to experience. So I think you should put a lot of attention to detail there, because that's the only thing that people paying the bills are really going to know. So your lobby should be really freaking cool. All right. You want them to have an experience going in that, because that's all they're going to see of your services. They're not going to have to see all the fun in the back and all the cool things that your dogs are doing. The only way to affect them is in that lobby. So make sure you're really doing a good job of creating that experience. What does it smell like when people go in the lobby? What's the feeling that they have? What is the vibe? And everyone's business will have a different kind of brand image that you want to portray. But I want you to think about, you go in and out of your business all the time. The next time you walk into your lobby, I want you to think, how does this make me feel? Is it warm, welcoming? Is it cold? Is it messy? Is it chaotic? Is it professional? And think about how you want people to feel when they come in. All right. If you want it to be like a home away from home, I would decorate your lobby like a home. I would have a couch. I would have pictures, think about the feeling that you want. It really matters. Disney pays so much attention to this stuff. And if we hear from Walt, he says, here you leave today and enter the world of yesterday, tomorrow, and fantasy. And as you go through Walt Disney World, there's different parts. There's Fantasyland, Tomorrowland, and each one has a very different feel that is unbelievably intentional. What I've learned is that there is nothing accidental in Disney. Everything is engineered and so well thought out for very specific purposes, and it always comes back to customer experience. So think about your first impressions and your last impressions that people have in dealing with your business. Now, you are the owner, so sometimes we get caught up in just our view of being the owner, and that's logical because you are the owner. One thing that Walt used to always do is he would walk his parks. He would pretend to be a customer, and he got quite famous after his television show. So he would have to put a disguise on, and he would walk through the park, and he would ask people, often children, what their experience was like, how they could improve it. He would sit on lines and time how long it would be to wait on the line for the Jungle Cruise. And if it wasn't what he was looking for, he would then tell his whole team, we got to make this line move quicker. We need to make this ride move quicker. He was really thought out about that, but he did it by leaving Walt, the owner, aside and becoming a customer himself. All right. So we want to try to get into your customer's shoes. So get out of your head and into your customer's head. It's not that easy because it's hard to put aside all the things but you want to try to do that as much as you can. A way you can do that is hire an impartial party to experience, your end-to-end services. Okay, have someone who you don't know hire a secret shopper to come in and experience it, and then give you an unbiased opinion. That's where a friend probably isn't so good. Maybe a friend of a friend, someone you don't know, to just go in, not tell you when they're coming in, experience your whole service offerings, and then give you some advice on how they felt. How did this, and it's not only did they think this was good, it's like, how did you feel about this? How did you feel about the communication? How did you feel walking in the lobby? How did you feel when you picked up your dog? There was any questions? That kind of stuff is valuable information. And you're just constantly trying to improve the experience. It never ends. All right. You're always optimizing. How can we do better? Trying to figure out from a customer's perspective. And a lot of times we do get too lost as the owner. So we need to really think of it from a customer's perspective. Once you do that, you're going to start to be able to anticipate your customer's needs. All right. Another famous story from Walt is what he would do is he would walk into his park and he would order a hot dog, which, by the way, is Walt Disney's was his favorite food. And he would eat a hot dog as he was walking down the street. And wherever he finished his hot dog, he said, this is where a garbage can goes, because he would anticipate how long it would take them to eat the food. So in all these concession stands, the garbage can is timed in particular places that you would need it if you've just consumed whatever you just bought and you're walking along. All right. That is crazy detail. All right. But he's anticipating the customer's needs just when they're going to require it the most. So be aware of what your customer wants and needs. And we want to try to be one step ahead of them. All right. So that we can take care of those needs as they happen. A great way to do this is do what Walt did, ask your customers. All right. I recommend surveying your customer base at least once a year. All right. You can survey them, and you can do like detailed surveys where you're asking them about very specific aspects of your business, or you could do an open-ended survey, which is just like 2 questions, which is like my favorite survey. Is just like, question 1 is, how would you rate your experience with us from 1 to 10? That's it. And then the next question is, if you didn't rate us a 10, what would it take to make it a 10? And you let them talk, and that'll give you a lot of feedback on different little things that you can do to improve things. And you're marketing. So what we do in marketing, a lot of it is just overcoming objections. So when someone, is thinking about maybe doing business with you, it's always, yeah, that sounds good, but, and if they have a but, they're not ready to do business with you. So your marketing is designed to overcome all objections, so there's no more buts. So if you understand what the objections are.
Okay.
Sorry, Kelly, I'm gonna mute you there. or Kaylee, sorry. Um, Understanding the objections and then, okay, addressing them so that, hey, there's nothing else left but to do business with you at that point. You need, Disney is great at this. Anybody who's been to Disney knows that, like, so I'll tell you a story. So my wife and I, when we had kids, we uh, we started saving for Disney when they were born. We said, okay, we want to take them and when they're 7. So we started saving at when they were at birth, knowing because the Disney vacation is probably like 3 times the amount of any other vacation. So we wanted to be prepared for it and not be stressed when we wanted, because we knew we wanted to take them at that age because we figured they would remember some of it and stuff. But even when we were planning the trip and I'm seeing the numbers, I'm like, holy crap, like this is so expensive. Like, is this really worth it? We could take 3 vacations for this. Like, maybe we should just do that. But we said, no, this was our plan. We're going to do it. And I hadn't been to Disney since I was, younger at that point. So we went, and I think within the first day of experiencing this, not only did I think it was so worth it, but I said to my wife, when are we coming back here? Like, this was just the first day, and already I wanted to come back. And that is because Disney really over delivers. Not only do they make me feel like it is worth all that money I spent, but they give me more than what I expected. So I think if you want to make your customers just ecstatic and create raving fans, you want to over deliver. All right. If you just, like I always say, satisfied customers suck. Okay. They are not going to come back. They are not going to stay with you when competitors come up. They're not going to tell their friends about you. Raving fans just love what you do so much that they're going to be compelled to do all those things. So you need to over deliver. A great story from Walt is his accountant said to him, why spend money on a Christmas parade? It won't draw people to the park. They're already there. So it's just an expense we can do without. No one will complain because no one's expecting it. Like, why not just do the normal parade? Why spend extra money for a Christmas parade? I love Walt's response. He's like, that's just the point. We should do the parade precisely because no one's expecting it. As long as we keep surprising them, they'll keep coming back. But if they ever stop coming, it'll cost us 10 times as much to get them to come back. And that is, if you know your numbers about acquiring a customer, it costs way more to get a new customer than to keep an existing customer. So that's why you should spend a lot of time trying to take care of your existing customers. A lot of people spend all this time and money on leads, and once they get a new lead to become a customer, then they kind of forget about them and go to get more leads. That's a mistake. You have to focus on the customers you have, and you want to continually surprise and delight them. All right. So you have to schedule stuff in. You have to hold some stuff back that you didn't tell them about that we're going to surprise them. So it seems like, wow, that came out of the blue, even though it's all planned. So if you can over deliver them, it'll be great. So Walt used to have this thing called plussing. So he would always say, we need to plus it. So someone would they'd be doing an animated film, like things that have never done. They pioneered animation. So they would do things that never been done before. And he would be like, this is great, but how do we plus it? So even though it's great was never good enough for Walt. He always said, how do we plus it? And then he would say, well, how do we plus the plus? He was always trying to outdo himself. So satisfied customers are no good. Do not shoot for that. You want raving fans, all right? That means you have to create an unexpected experience that they cannot get in other places, all right? The reason why Disney is such a juggernaut of a company, whereas other businesses that tried to mimic them aren't to their level, is because they have created an experience like no other. So the thing is, once you're this good and you're so good at over delivering, it's almost impossible to compete with you. All right, because you're doing things that nobody can. You're like at the cutting edge of all that stuff. So you just keep striving to top yourself. I think a lot of companies get in trouble when they're like, you know what, we're doing great, we're doing good, and they just say, let's just keep doing this. When you're when you climb the mountain, that's awesome, but you can't just stay there because nothing stays the same. You should immediately go into, okay, that's great, let's celebrate. We achieved all this, But now, what are we going to do to top ourselves? How are we going to continue to innovate, to provide more value? It really never ends. And if you do that, you'll create a business that's around for a long, long time. Disney is the master of little details. All right. And one of the things we used to, when my kids and my family were in Disney, we used to always say, always look up. Because we were on a line for a ride or anywhere, if you looked up, Disney didn't just say, well, that's the ceiling. We don't have to do anything there. It's the floor. No one's really coming for the floor. No, if you look up, there's details everywhere. The floor, everywhere. There's different details, little Mickeys hidden all over the place. Everything is the details that they go into is amazing, and it creates that experience. So here's my daughter, Sabrina. I will say 5 minutes after this picture was taken, a seagull stole both of those, and she was looking very different. It was not a fun scene. But was it worth the extra cost for Disney to make, why not just make regular waffles? Just have regular waffles. You got a Ariel and Nemo we have there. Why do that? Well, the reason is because those little details, my kids still remember those waffles because they had Ariel and Dory on it. Those matter a lot. So I don't know why that blue line is there. Did I do that? I'm not even sure. How are you going to craft the impression that people have? All right, let's start with the wardrobe. Okay, if you look at Disney, every different spot, the wardrobes match whatever they're in. So if you change lands, all the staff wardrobe changes and stuff. If you go into a different food vendor, all the staff wardrobes change because they want to create that experience. What are the details that you have? Did your staff just wear ratty t-shirts? And nothing wrong with t-shirts. I would just make sure they look nice if that's the experience you want. But just remember, your people are interacting with your staff. What is their wardrobe? What are those details like? All of your marketing materials, okay, are they just kind of thrown together, or is there thought to it? Everything should have thought to it, okay? And I already mentioned the lobby, so critical. Your lobby is so critical because that's the only experience that a lot of your human customers are going to have. How can you make little details that'll be memorable? I don't know how to get this blue line off. I don't even know how it got there. Looks like we're going to have to tolerate that, although it is going to bother my perfectionist needs here. Okay, people will definitely pay for convenience, all right? Disney vacation is an astronomical amount of money, okay? You would think that would be enough, but there are people that would love to pay more for a better experience, okay? You should always have a VIP option, okay? Because there's people that want to pay it. So we paid all this money for our Disney trip, and then we paid extra for the Disney Genie, which allows you to kind of skip the line, for certain rides and stuff. It's an added fee, but who wants to wait online? So did I pay for it? Absolutely, happily, to skip the lines in some of these rides and stuff. If you always have a VIP option, okay, because people are going to want it no matter what. So optimizing your services for VIP, how can people skip the line in your business? All right. And that might be like a lot of times you see this in memberships where we have priority boarding. So like if you have busy times for boarding, you're guaranteeing people can pay more for a guaranteed spot on those holidays, or maybe it is they can drop off, pick up at different times. Maybe it's curbside drop off pickups. Maybe it's extra baths or whatever. How can you give more convenience to them? And how can you make it easier for people to do business with you? Baffles me that some people don't accept credit cards because they don't want to pay the fees. Like, I got news for you. Credit card fees, thank the credit card companies, because we are moving to a paperless society. Happily pay those fees because they are enabling you to get money from people to pay for your services. So you want, and it's not what's easier for you, it's what's easier for the customer. If paying by credit card is easier for the customer, you should do it and suck up the fee because that's the cost of doing business. The easier you make it for someone to pay you, the more money you will make and the more customers you will get because they will be happier. So memberships are a really easy way to do that. So think about different ways that you can offer people a VIP experience, make it more convenient, and give them more perks for those high-end packages and stuff. All right, VIP, don't forget about it. Here's my daughter Sabrina in the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boop Boutique, I think that's what it's called, which is in Cinderella's castle. This cost an obscene amount of money to have them get dressed up and get gussied up like princesses. I have two girls, so this is big. We spent a lot of money to do it. We happily did it because it provided this experience for them that was like no other. And it was mobbed, like it was jam-packed. You have to book this months in advance. So always have a high-priced top tier. And a lot of our clients that have like boarding options, the one that's sold out the most is always the top. People love their pets. They want the best. Okay. It doesn't matter if their dog's not watching the TV in their luxury suite. The luxury suites are the ones that are usually booked up the most. So have those high tier services. How can you provide more value or create a better experience? Okay. And it doesn't mean everyone's going to go for it. Not everyone went for the, the obsessive money that this thing cost, but it was booked up with a whole bunch of people that did. So you want to have options for those people. One of the days that we were in Disney, we're in Epcot actually this day. For some reason, I don't know why, and it definitely was not, I don't know why, but the park was like half empty. Like there was nobody in Epcot this day. I was surprised. There wasn't many crowds. There wasn't many lines. It was really strange. Now, so so Disney does in all their parks, they do like a light show fireworks display at the end. Did Disney say, well, you know what? The park is half full today. Let's only give them half the fireworks display. Let's not waste the whole thing because there's only a certain amount of people. Did they do that? No, of course not. They gave the few people that were there the most unbelievable show that they could have done. All right. Always go all out no matter what. I don't care if you've got one customer or a million customers. Okay. You want to always go all out. So give everybody the VIP experience. Okay. Treat everyone like a VIP. Disney is awesome at this. Like their customer service people, their employees who go through a rigorous training, like everybody from the guy picking up garbage to the vice president of everything goes through the same training program. And it's just about really how to take care of their customers and making sure everyone who steps in that door gets VIP treatment. I remember when I was, I used to be a personal trainer, and it was a small personal training studio where we just did one-on-one training. So I was there as a trainer and I trained, I had my clients, but then there was other trainers who had their clients there too. And when I got there, they said, okay, I want you to think of this like Disneyland. You have to greet every single person. You have to know everybody's name, whether they're your client or not. And I was like, wow, that seems like a lot. But I started doing it and I could see the effect that it had on people. Just coming in, trainers that didn't even meet them, knew their name and would talk to them. And it made people feel good about going there. So make sure we're giving everybody a great experience. Always behave like you're being watched. Okay, I noticed this as a parent. How I interact sometimes with my kids at home is different than if I'm in a crowded restaurant. I'm a little more reserved on my best behavior. I'm not going to let them push my buttons. I'm not going to yell at them right away. But at home, no one's watching. I can do whatever the hell I want. So I want you to think like someone's watching you at all times. All right. And how would you behave? How would you treat this person if you were being watched all the time? That's a good gauge, and you will up your level of service just from that. Our buddy Walt says, do what you do so well that they will want to see it again and bring their friends. All right. You want to do something so good that they're like compelled. Like when I was in Disney, they did it so well. I was there for one day, paid more money than I ever did for vacation, and already I wanted to come back. All right. That's an experience. All right. Timing is definitely everything. Disney is the master at timing upsells. So we went on a ride. When I went to Disney the one time, it was right after the Avatar exhibit or section or land or whatever came out. And there's a ride called Flight of Passage, which is by far the best thing I've ever been on in my life. It is unbelievable. I highly recommend you check that out. Right? And what does Disney do on every ride? Okay. Where does every ride exit to? The gift shop. Okay. So we came out of Flight of Passage all charged up. This was an amazing experience. And immediately, all my kids, both my kids, wanted a little dragon. They just rode one on the ride, and they had to have this obscenely overpriced little dragon that's right there. It cost me like $50 a pop. I got two of them. I will say, after this day, they never picked the thing up again. We might still have it somewhere in the house too. They never used it again. If they would have seen that a day later, they probably wouldn't have bought it. But they were charged up from being in the ride, and that upsell was perfectly timed. So time your upsells well. So plan how you're going to upsell things in your service offering so that it makes sense and you're taking advantage of particular times, especially when people are emotional or when it's logical to offer some upsells. And you should be upselling things, and again, we're not just trying to squeeze every dollar out of a person. What you're selling should be valuable to them. All right. So they should want it. Reviews are a good thing. You need, like, a lot of people want online reviews, but if you just send an email to all of your clients saying, okay, please, write us a review, your response rate on that would probably be pretty low, just a blind email like that. However, if after this, what we instruct our clients to do is, if they come in, they just got back from boarding, they had this big emotional kind of reunion with their dog. We're telling them how much fun their dog had and everything. They've got a big smile on their face. They're walking out the door. I'm going to text them a review request right there because they're filled with emotion. They just had a really great experience. I'm pretty much guaranteed for a 5-star review right there. So timing your reviews is really important for you to get success on that. I don't think anybody does customer service quite like Disney. I mentioned it a little bit about how unbelievable their staff is and the rigorous training program that they go into. And I find most dog daycare staff, their training that you give them is pretty limited. Okay. A lot of these people are young. They've never dealt with the public before. Don't assume they know how to do it. All right. You need to train them and empower them to make sure they're representing your business in a very positive light. Okay, so definitely just remember what is client facing. I always say your front desk person should be the most overpaid person in your organization because they are probably the only people that are seeing the customer. You as the owner might not see them all the time. The daycare attendants in the back probably don't see them. But the person at the front desk is maybe their only experience with somebody at your company. They need to be a people person, okay? And I always, so I still kind of teach people how to become a dog trainer. And a lot of people will come into this industry saying, oh, I'm a dog person. I'm not a people person. I'm like, you're going to fail because dogs are not paying for this. The people are paying for it. This is a people job, not a dog job. Okay. Until the dogs are paying, then it'll be a dog job. This is a people job. So you need to be a people person. And if you're going to be client facing, they need to be an awesome experience, whoever's client facing. So your front desk person should be overpaid, really positive, a lot of energy, someone that you would like to be with. Okay. You would like to hang out with, not negative, not a downer. And they have to have really good communication, and you need to improve your communication end to end with your customers. All right. I'm going to ask you a question. How often do you email your customers? If it's less than once a month, it's not enough. Remember, you don't have any contact with the humans. Okay. You need points of contact. You need to have communication. Do you send text pictures or something? How do you communicate? We need to open lines of communication. And I know it's difficult at scale. So not every business will be the same, but Disney has invested heavily in the customer experience, and it's one of the really keys to their success. Our buddy Walt says, I happen to be a kind of inquisitive guy, and when I see things I don't like, I start thinking, why do they have to be like this, and how can I improve them? The reason that Disney World exists is because he went to a carnival with his daughters and saw that it was dirty and there was garbage on the floor, and there was like these like really like seemly looking people like taking tickets from kids when they go on the rides. And he's like, it does not have to be this way. And when he built it, everyone thought he was crazy. No one is going to care about all that stuff. And it turns out everybody cared about all that stuff. So good things to think about. People who work at Disney are the most loyal staff ever. And I read a lot of books of I read like a lot of books on different entrepreneurs and businesses and stuff. Nobody has the longevity that Disney has. And a lot of times people will quit like high paying jobs to go work at Disney at a lower level because they just want the experience of being that. And it's not because of the job itself, it's because of the culture that Disney has created. Okay. People are willing to take pay cuts to go work for Disney just because of the culture that they have created for it. So here's how Disney helps shape their culture and gets their staff. It gives them a purpose more than just, taking care of people. They don't call them customers. They call them guests. All right. Right there, a single, like that one switch. Okay. Customers means we're trying to get money from them, kind of, right? Guests means they're special. All right. So just getting their staff to call them guests instead of customers changes their attitude towards them. They don't have employees, actually. They're called cast members or sometimes hosts. That makes them feel better. I'm not just an employee, I'm a cast member of Disney, empowers them a little bit. They don't wear uniforms. All of these things you see here on the screen are called their costumes because they're a part of the show. Everybody who is in part of their business is part of their show. And they don't have crowds, it's an audience. They are performing for an audience. So these are just little ways that they have ingrained and changed the attitudes their staff has towards the business itself. And the Disney culture, it goes way deeper than that. There's a lot of other stuff that goes in there, but you want to have a place that not only people want to work for, but you want to create the environment where they're going to showcase you and your business the right way and feel good about it. All right. All these people are individuals. All the people that work for you are individual who have different goals, dreams, and needs. And, your business may be not top on their list, but how can we get them to feel a part of something greater? Right. If you can do that, you'll have an amazing experience there. Walt says you can design, create, and build the most wonderful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality. And Walt really tried to take care of his people as much as he could. He was and that some people would stay with him for decades, like decades and decades, just because of the business that he created. And I think one of the things that was special about Walt is, he was driven and he had a vision, and he was very particular. He was a perfectionist. That's why he would, someone would come to him with something. He's like, that's nice, but how do we plus it? Like, he's never satisfied. But he was so kind to his staff. Okay. And I read a lot of books, like, you read about Elon Musk and Bezos and Steve Jobs. They're all brilliant people, but it turns out they were pretty crappy to work for. Sometimes they're not the nicest guys to their staff. Everybody loved Walt. Okay. And when I was reading some of his books, these people were with him for like 40, 50 years. It was unbelievable. So how can we lead like Walt? Definitely it starts with a vision. He knew exactly where he wanted to go. All right. You have to be clear, because if you don't know where you want to go, it's hard to get people rallied around where we're going. We're just going somewhere, but why? Why are we doing it? What's our mission? You have to be clear on this thing, because that's how people are going to buy into it. And you need to have empathy for people, especially your staff. All right. And I think everyone is like, oh, the the Gen Zs don't want to work. And, when I was there, I just wanted a paycheck was enough and everything. You have to let all that stuff go and realize these are different, maybe a different generation. They may have different wants, different needs, different motivations. You have to understand, you have to have empathy for them and figure out what it's like for them. All right. And don't expect anyone to care about your business like you do. Of course not. It's your business. It's not theirs. So you need to figure out what they want and how can we help them get they want and still have them have an experience in your business. All right. You got to be open to feedback. Okay. Walt was constantly sitting down with different staff members, whether they were engineers or maybe animators, and just getting their feedback. And, he didn't always listen to them, because he had a very clear vision of what he wanted, but oftentimes he would collaborate and, be open to some feedback there. Also give recognition. Okay. That's one of the things that I think staff value the most, is just letting them know that they're doing a good job and that they're appreciated. All right. If you can do that on a regular basis, they will tolerate picking up poop all day and being humped by a 200-pound dog or something, don't be shy in the recognition. All right. My homework for you right now is, after this is over, think of one staff member who you can just give a high five to, or say thank you. Try to do that regularly, and I think your staff will love you as much as they loved Walt. He says, no matter what the provocation, I never fire a man who is honestly trying to deliver a job. Few workers have become established at the Disney studio, ever leave voluntary or otherwise, and many have been on the payroll for their entire working lives. And doing the research, that was true. Again, they were there for like 40, 50 years. Unbelievable longevity. One of the things he would do is he would invest in his staff constantly. This picture is, he wanted his animators to know how to draw animals, so he would bring animals in so they can learn from the source how to illustrate them. So what about your staff? Are you empowering them properly? What is their onboarding process like? Just giving them a handbook, having them follow somebody around shadow someone for a day does not qualify them to manage a pack of dogs. Okay. I find a lot of people are not setting their staff up to succeed because they're not properly training them and equipping them with the skills and the information needed to be successful in the different job roles. So I think you need to have a better onboarding process, and just knowing it's not a one size fits all. Some staff members may be able to do things right away, and some of them may actually need a little more time. Okay. You might need to answer more questions or give them more education or something. And they could be great staff members, but you don't want to just overwhelm them right from the beginning. And help employees increase their knowledge and skill set. I mean, Disney ended up creating, like Walt created an entire school basically on the campus of his in California, where they could learn, like just to let his staff learn. An entire school for his staff to learn. Really cool stuff. So think about how you can help your staff increase their skill set within your business. Walt said, the first year at Disneyland, I leased out a parking concessions, bought in the usual security guards, things like that, but soon realized my mistake. I couldn't have outside help and still get over my idea of hospitality. So we recruit and train every one of our new employees. So like, this is where you might say, okay, we got a staff member and they are from another, I don't have to train them that hard because they're from another dog daycare down the street. Who knows? They may do things totally wrong. It's not your way. So if you create your own curriculum, everyone comes in and you get to the same experience, so that you'll know everyone will give your same experience no matter. That's why the training program at Disney, whether you're a janitor or a CEO, you go through the same training program, because it doesn't matter if you're a CEO, you haven't done it the Disney way yet. And they want to make sure everyone is on the same page. So I think you have to really think about how you're training your staff. So a lot of, especially when you try to do things differently, you're going to have a lot of naysayers. People say, oh, you shouldn't do that, or that can't be done. No one will pay for that. A good example of that is the very first full-length animated movie ever produced, which was Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. When he said he was going to do that, the banks didn't believe him. His friends laughed at him. everyone said no one will actually sit through a long, like usually they're all like 5 minutes at the beginning of a movie is where you would see animation. They said nobody is going to sit there and want to pay for a full-length animated feature. Well, we all know everyone was wrong. And it's a good thing Walt listened to none of them. All right. So it's a good thing to get advice. But once you know what your mission is, okay, sometimes you got to not listen to what everyone around you is saying. If you believe it in your soul, you have to move forward. Thank God Walt did that, because he thinks one of his most famous quotes is, actually, it's kind of fun to do the impossible. And I have a quote here. I can't remember if I put that here on my wall, framed, that says, all our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. All right. And that's one thing Walt had. He had unbelievable courage in the face of all adversary when everyone else said no, and he had to go through a million banks, said no a million times. He said, no, this is my vision and this is what I want to do. And he was not unwavering. Now, it didn't always work out for him, but it was really amazing to see that unfold for him. Do you guys know, in the chat, do you recognize this guy? Who knows who that is? Type that in there. Anybody? Nobody knows who that is? Shane, of course, you know who it is. Shane probably has a shirt with this guy on him. Not Mickey. Nope. It is Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. All right. Gold star for Shane. Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Okay. This was actually the first successful cartoon character that Walt Disney created. All right. And what happens is he created him, and they were doing really well with, this wasn't like a full feature. These were little shorts they were doing. And what happens is Walt was going from California to New York City to talk with the distributor about expanding Oswald because everything was going so well. So he was all excited. He told his brother Roy. So Roy is the numbers guy. Walt Walt and Roy are the two brothers in the Disney empire, and Walt was the creative. Roy was the financial and numbers guy. So Roy's going to stay home in California, and Walt's taking the trip over, and he's all excited. We're going to up our contract. We're going to get more money. We're going to be able to do more stuff. When he gets to New York, he finds out not only is he not going to get any of that stuff, but he didn't read his contract properly, and they're going to get less money. They're going to try to take all their money away because the contract now says that they own none of it. This sleazy production guy now cheated them out of everything, and he went behind their back and like doubled the salary of a lot of his animators and stole them. So basically, he went to New York thinking he was going to get this big deal. He left realizing he's losing all of his animators, and he no longer owns Oswald, his most successful cartoon. All right. That's pretty devastating thing to happen. So what does Walt do? All right. Walt has to now take a train ride back to New York. So before he goes, okay, this just happens, he sends a telegram to his brother Roy. And this is exactly what it says. Leaving tonight, stopping over in Kansas City, arrive home Sunday morning, 7:30. Don't worry, everything okay. We'll give details when I arrive. Walt. Okay, that's weird. Like, all this just happened. And that's the message he sends to his brother. Walt has no idea what he's going to do. On the train ride home, he does this doodle. You recognize that guy? That guy would eventually become Mickey Mouse, a gazillion times bigger than Oswald. And he was never worried, okay? So as devastating as that was, what he did is on the train ride back, he starts doodling something new. Because they took Oswald, but they couldn't take his creativity. They couldn't take, everything that he brings to the table. And it worked out pretty darn well for him. So I think you need to change how you see failure. Okay. Failure, yeah, it sucks in the moment, but I have seen every failure give equal opportunity, if not more. So I want you to look, and I would if like I said, I study a lot of businesses and people who are successful. None of them got where they are without failures. Failure is important. Failure is part of the process. All right. And Walt did not let failure stop him. So I don't think it should let you stop you, because Walt went bankrupt a number of times. He failed. A lot of projects did not work out, but it never stopped him. And he used to say, I have stick it to it, stick to it diddy, stick to it ibity. That's it. He kind of coined that, and he would say that that's how you just stay persistent. So how can you be resilient? All right. Number one, don't have a victim mentality. All right. We are blessed. There's never been a better time to be an entrepreneur than right now. Okay. Yes, it comes with its struggles, but it is so much easier now than it was 10, 20, 30 years ago. This is the best time to have a small business in the history of humanity. Okay. Not since the printing press we have so many opportunities thanks to the internet. So we're very lucky no matter what. So don't have a victim mentality. You want to think everything is not happening to you, it's happening for you. Yes, bad things happen. You may not be able to control that, but you do have 100% control of what you do after that point. You could let it cripple you, or you could let it motivate you and spring you to your next big thing. And that's exactly what Walt always did. And if you really want something, obstacles are going to come in your way. Again, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. Okay. Why does only a small percentage of the people have their own business? Because it's damn hard. Okay. Failure is common, and we have to get over that. Only the strong and the ones who have this vision and this passion and understand that this is a process kind of roll with it and get through it. So that's what I want for you. And Walt said, you may not realize it when it happens, but a good kick in the teeth may be the best thing in the world for you. And I think when he looks over at Oswald, he thanks the Lord above that he had him taken away. All right, because it opened the door for Mickey. All right, I'm just looking at my time. All right, I have a little bit more to go, so hang in with me, guys. The other thing Disney does really well is constantly reinvent themselves. And I see a lot of people, especially now in this age of enrichment and daycare 2.0 and stuff, you've been doing things a certain way, and there's a certain amount of reluctance to change. But I got news for you. Nothing stays the same. You must evolve or go extinct. So Disney is constantly realizing how to pivot and constantly evolve and stay relevant. Their new attractions are just an example of that, like Star Wars Land here. So don't fight change, embrace it. Okay. It is always going to come. All right. So you have to roll with it, and you want your business to evolve. You may have to change your business model. So a lot of people are realizing that. They're saying, wow, regular daycare, we're now realizing maybe not be as healthy for the dogs. And people now are looking for more. So we're switching more to like an enrichment model. We're not doing all day play, because that's not maybe the best thing for dogs. So we're pivoting, even though it's easier just to not do anything. It requires more work, and you got to think this stuff through and maybe change some stuff. But change is the only way things go. Nothing stays the same. So you have to be open to it, and you'll see that a lot of this stuff comes with new opportunities and ideas. So you can't just be stuck in your fixed way. You have to leave yourself open to change and seeing what else is out there, and experiment a little bit. Our buddy Walt said, we keep moving forward, opening new doors and doing new things because we're curious, and curiosity keeps leading down new paths. So he was always thinking about, Walt was amazingly future-minded, the stuff that he did. So he's always thinking to the future. This is a big one for you guys in pet businesses, is to get out of your own way. All right. Walt started out drawing Mickey. He started out doing the voice for Mickey, but he didn't stay there. If he kept doing that, there's no way he could have created Walt Disney World, or Disneyland at the time was the first one. He would be too busy doing that stuff. Okay. So you have to get out of your own way. So you have to remove yourself from the day-to-day aspects of your business. If you are still watching dogs, picking up poop, doing the day-to-day stuff that you could hire somebody to do, you're never going to grow. You're just limiting yourself because you're stuck in the day-to-day. you're never going to get to that big vision, the growth that you want, if you're doing the day-to-day. You've got to hire, delegate, and this is a stage I'm in right now. I used to be just me. Now I'm starting to build a team. I have to let stuff go and realize it's not going to be done the same way. Sometimes maybe not as good, but it's going to get done because I need to focus on the big picture things that only I can do. And hire good people. Invest in good people. All right. I always look at let's take a daycare person in the back who's watching the dogs. A good dog handler, one good dog handler is worth three bad ones. So I would much rather hire one guy who can handle the work probably of three at a much higher pay than just three bodies. All right. You should never be hiring just people because you need bodies. That's not a good business at all. You want to hire good people and understand that you're hiring entry level. So of course they're not going to stay for years and years and years because they probably have dreams of their own. They're going to move other places. So instead of getting mad that there's turnover, understand that this is the way this industry is because it's an entry-level position. It goes for all entry-level positions. So what can I do to make sure that I get the best experience for them and that they get the best experience in the time that I have them? Okay. And you got to get good at delegating. One task off your plate at a time, delegate so that you don't have to do it. Walt say, people still think of me as a cartoonist, but the only thing I lift a pen or pencil for these days is to sign a contract, a check, or an autograph. All right. He got out of that as soon as he could. And lastly, you need to diversify. Okay. Disney does this really great. Yes, they have theme parks. They also have animation. They have streaming. There's merchandising. There's a million different things that they're doing. And the reason it's good to diversify is if one aspect's of their business, if the next movie bombs, they're not dependent upon that for revenue. They can then say, okay, the theme parks can help for it, and you have some wiggle room there. So this is where I always get nervous when I see pet businesses that are just doing boarding or they're just doing daycare. It's better to have multiple revenue streams in so that you're not dependent upon one. If like what we saw with COVID, if you were just a boarding, you just went under. So have multiple services and think about how you can take care of people in different ways and take care of dogs in different ways. That'll make you more valuable. The more value you're able to provide to people, the more valuable you and your business become. Walt said, I suppose my formula might be dream, diversify, and never miss an angle. He's always looking for different ways to do things and improve it. Woo! There we go, guys. I hope you liked it. That was my kind of opinion on Disney and how we can take what they do. There's me and my wife having fun with the big guy himself. I want to tell you guys, I'll answer any questions you have. But if you guys want some help from me and my team, we have a number of different ways. The easiest way to get started would be our inner circle, which is our group coaching model, which is awesome. We do 2 live Zoom calls a week. 2 Zoom calls a month where you can get all your questions answered. You get my input as well as the community. There's like 60 or so businesses all over the world, dog daycares that we're going to just help each other. You get a whole bunch of courses, marketing course, staffing course, success course, 2 master classes, one on Facebook ads, one on company culture, tons of bonuses and discounts as well. It's only $97 a month, no commitment. Anybody here on this webinar, if you want to try out the inner circle, I will also do a free digital audit of your business. So look at your digital assets and give you some advice on what you might be able to improve. Also, if you don't like it, I'll give you your money back in 30 days. I think you're going to love it. So if you're interested in your circle, please reach out to me and my team. You can just send me a message on the email that you got this webinar request to, and we'll get you set up. You can also just sign up on the website as well. But just make sure you let me know, email me because I'll give you, so I know to do the digital audit. All right. Questions. Trevor is an active member of our inner circle. Yes. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Yeah, it's so great having you in there. Super cool. Thank you. Allison, also in the inner circle. Yep. Kelly as well. Yeah, a lot of our inner circle people here. Good to see you there. Anybody questions or anything to share about the Disney model? Was this helpful? Do you think you can you can do some of this in your pet business. What's my favorite ride? Well, it's got to be Flight of Passage right now. Now I haven't gone back in a little while, in a number of years, so maybe that'll change. But right now, Flight of Passage is my number one. It is unbelievable, really cool. All right, let's see. So anything else, guys? Any questions or any of that? I know there's a lot of information. Hope you enjoyed it. Grab a quick sip here. Tower of Terror, also good. Yeah, there's you know what? There's so many good ones. That's why we wait an hour or two on a line for something that it's like 2 minutes because it is that impressive. Yeah, it was funny when I went to Disney when that opened, right? The Flight of Passage. I had a fast pass for it. People were waiting for 4 hours for that ride. It just opened up. It was unbelievable. I couldn't believe people were waiting for 4 hours for that. It's crazy. But that's the demand that Disney has. Once you've created something like that, people will wait. Like I'm amazed that they've created something where people are gonna pay a lot of money and then just sit in a line for 4 hours. But they happily do it. And Disney is always packed, time and time again. Premium priced, but they deliver on it. So you can charge high price if you provide value. All right. If you provide the value, you can charge whatever you want and people will pay it. Just got to make sure you're providing the value. All right, guys. Awesome. If you have any questions after this, just let me know. I would love to see a lot of you guys in the inner circle. It's a super fun group. It's probably one of my favorite things to do to help you guys and to just be a part of your world. And I learned so much from those calls every 2 weeks. All right. Well, thank you guys. Enjoy the rest of the day. I hope to see you guys soon. When does my conference become live? Casey, what conference are you talking about? Do you mean the retreat? Maybe. If you're talking about the retreat, yes. Okay. The retreat, I'm working on it. Man, it's going to be awesome. The retreat will go on in September. I'm going to open it up to anybody who has went to the last one. So they get the first chance at tickets. Then I open it up to full clients at Overdog. And then if there's tickets available, I open it up to Inner Circle. And then if there's tickets available after that, which probably not because there's only 20 tickets, then it'll go to the general public. The general public, if it's available, will probably be around November. And this is for our retreat in April of 2025, which is going to be, it's going to be cool. So, yes. So Casey, I would love to see you there. So Inner Circle will probably go on sale in October, I'm going to guess. But I'm working on the information for it now. I should have the website page done by the beginning of September. So you'll be able to see, the details that we have so far with it and everything, pricing and how it's going to be worked. It's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it. So I hope you guys can make it. If you guys are going to IBPSA, I will be there. So maybe I'll see you guys there. Make sure you come say hi if you are. If not, I'll also be at the Pet Boarding and Daycare Expo in November in Hershey. So hopefully I get to see you guys in person. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of your day, and I hope to see you soon. Take care.